Hey yo, sorry about that, guys. Ran into some technical difficulties there trying to go live. Still running into a little bit of problem, but anyways, welcome back. If you've been before, welcome. If this is your first time, my name is Derek, covering everything wholesaling real estate related on the channel, specifically virtual wholesaling real estate, virtually wholesaling real estate, however you want to say it. I live in California and I'm sourcing opportunity out in Houston, Texas. So if you're out in Houston, love to connect with you. Go ahead, check out the links in the description. Reach out via Instagram or the Discord group that I got down there. And you can also check out some of the affiliate links down there as well if you want to support me in the channel here. Got batch skip tracing and batch leads links down below if you're interested in a couple of providers that I use personally. So I do recommend them, not just pushing them to get the affiliate commission. God, yeah, I'm running into some issues. I'm sorry, you guys. But anyways, trying to do something real quick. I got the laundry in the dryer for another 30 minutes. So I'm going to try to send off the text for the day within that time frame there. I had gotten about 175, 176, I think to be specific, new properties in, or rather about 110 properties, but 175 mobile numbers to text from those properties. If you're not familiar with kind of my process, is when I skip trace using batch skip tracing, I will it'll return the results and it will let you know. It'll give you up to 10 phone numbers, 3 emails, mailing address. It'll give you a bunch of other stuff too if you want to utilize that, like whether or not the property's vacant, if it's absentee owned, if there's any liens, judgments, bankruptcies attached to the property. But all I'm looking at is the mobile versus the landline, and it will tell you, well, first for the 10 phone numbers that they up to 10 phone numbers. Not all properties give you 10 phone numbers. More often than not, it's just like the first 3 to 5 phone numbers that they'll give you per property. What I'm doing is, and what they will do with that is they will distinguish between what number is a mobile number and what number is a landline. So obviously, in texting, I want to focus on the mobile numbers. So what I do is I take the first, uh, if there's a mobile number for the property within the first 3 results, I will take those and I will import them into my texting platform. And I say the first 3 because when batch skip tracing gives you their results, they are giving them to you in order of, I guess, relevance is not the most correct word there, but the likelihood of it being the person that you're trying to reach. So the first phone number will be the most likely. If you use that number, you will most likely get the person that you're trying to reach. If not that phone number, then the second is the next most likely. So I only take the first 3 mobile numbers, if there's any mobile numbers in those first 3 results. So that's why I say it's about 110 properties, but some of those properties probably have multiple mobile numbers within their first 3 results. So I import them into my texting software, kind of as duplicates. So on, you know, Joe Blow will be at 123 Main Street with phone number 1, and then I will import again Joe Blow, same address, just phone number 2, different phone number, so that they're just kind of separated within the system. And then I make sure to delete the duplicates as the responses come in, and what have you. What's going on, Emilio? Yo. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop over to my texting platform, which is REI Reply. They've changed their user interface significantly, so I'm still trying to kind of navigate it and figure out where I need to go in order to just do simple things, to be quite honest. So I'll come over to contacts, and what I'm going to do is start with all the properties that I imported last night, starting with that first phone number. So I have 3 lists. The properties that I imported yesterday, phone number 1, properties I imported yesterday with phone number 2, and then phone number 3. So there's 77 records. So 77 of like the 100 and however many properties had a mobile number as the first result. So I'm going to take all 77 of these people. I'm going to add them to my campaign. I'm going to add them to my general 20-day campaign. I'm going to add them in drip mode, meaning that I get to select how quickly and how frequently texts are being sent out, as opposed to just selecting add all at once. I know if you've watched the channel here before, or you've heard me go on rants or express my concern about why it is they even have that as an option, as the add all at once option. Um, because anybody who's utilizing this type of a software, especially this type of software where there's so much automation involved, you would think that they're probably doing it at scale to some degree. And you almost always want to add it in drip mode. If you're texting more than like 10 people, you want to add it in drip mode so that, let's say you're texting 20 people, you want to text like 4 to 5 people every minute for a couple of minutes. You don't want to send all 20 texts all at once, because then your phone number is going to get flagged with the phone carriers like AT&T, Verizon. It's going to get flagged like, hey, this is a little suspicious. This one phone number sends off 100 text messages. And I've done that accidentally. So that's why I say I don't even know why they give that as an option. So if you're doing something like this, just always add it in drip mode. It asks for a description of the action. So I'm going to say 77 contact import to general 20-day campaign. Start on today at, I'm going to do 12:50 p.m., which is 2 minutes from now. It's 10:48 my time, but the system, I elected to put it in my markets time, which is 2 hours ahead. I'm going to do, I'm going to do 6 every 1 minute. I found kind of a sweet spot at like 7 to 8, but since they changed their user interface, I'm not quite sure where things are located and stuff. So I just don't want to get overwhelmed with the amount of texts that are going off and the responses that are coming in. I'm not going to do the process between hours, because that's throwing me off. I've realized that if it doesn't send off all of them within the time frame that I like to choose, then, and there's still like leftover people to text, I found that what happens is the next day at like 10 a.m., which is when I tell the system it's okay to start sending texts, they all get sent off at once, all at once, and I don't have the option to add it in drip mode the second time around. So I'm just not even going to do the little optional window of time anymore. So 77, how many did I say? Every 6 minutes. So those should get sent off within like 13 minutes, 15. Let's play it safe. And that's going to start in 1 minute. So I'm going to hop over to the conversations tab and just kind of start waiting for those to go off, be sent out. I recently changed my settings to allow people to call in and for it to patch through to my my phone number, or rather my sideline number, which is kind of like the number that I've been using to follow up with my leads and stuff. There's an app that I got off the App Store called Sideline. It's like $10 a month, I think, and you just get a dedicated second phone number. All right, there they go. They're off. So what I like doing is clicking through individually. I just like determining, well, one, I like to see if any of these are getting kicked back as spam, like this one. Well, not spam, but error code. So this one is an error code. The error code is 30,003. I think that it's either that it's a landline, or just for some reason the phone number cannot receive text messages. So what I'll do is I'll tag anybody who kicks back with that type of an error code as cold call. And when I tag them as cold call, they're going to get added to a list within my texting platform that says ready to cold call. And once that gets to like 100, couple hundred, then I'll take everybody there and I will bring them to my dialer so that I can try calling them as opposed to texting them. So anybody who either kicks back as an error code, for some reason they're unable to receive text, like this person right here, 30,003 again, I will tag them cold call. And other people who end up on that list are people who go through the entire 20-day drip campaign and never respond. So this is a 20-day campaign where they're going to get texted one ringless voicemail, probably like one ringless voicemail and like 5 to 7 texts over the course of 20 days, where they get texted like every 3 to 4 days, saying different things, just kind of generally alluding to me being interested in making them an offer for their property. So if they get through all of those texts and they never reply once, then they're going to get tagged automatically by the system, no response, and get tagged as cold call as well, so that they get added to that same list. So that then I will try to cold call them as opposed to text them, because either they don't receive texts, or texting may just not be their preferred method of communication. So these are going off. Um, just kind of keeping up with it. Again, I like to click through them individually at this point in my career. Since I am like operating off of a limited budget, I like to know that every text, because what will happen, unfortunately, I think, unless they made an update with this last update, is they may get an error code, but it's still going to text them. They're not being removed from the campaign when they get kicked back as an error. So you have to manually go in there and remove them from the campaign. So that's what I like to do. Again, since I'm operating off of a limited budget, I just like to know that all my marketing dollars are being put to good use and not texting people who aren't receiving the text. And then again, this is, I know I'm kind of being very repetitious here in going through all of this, but I like to narrate it because I know you guys can't see my screen. And for all of the new people that are checking out the videos, I got a handful of new people checking out the videos every day. So for those type of people, I like to kind of break it down. Um, what was I just going to say? Oh, and what I also kind of do in order to make my marketing budget stretch, and just make better use of my time, is if somebody texts me saying, no, I'm not interested, I'm not selling my property, and in their response, it's clear that it is the right person. I'll only do this if it's very clear that I connected with the person who I was wanting to connect with, and they are clearly not interested in selling their property. I will take note of them, and I will also delete them from my dialer, because there's no point in me calling them if they're texting me telling me that there's no interest in selling. And that's why I like to make it very clear that it is the person who I'm wanting to connect with, right? I just don't want to, because a lot of people, like this person right here, they just texted me back saying no. So I'm going to tag them not interested within my texting platform, but they're not really giving me enough that leads me to believe that this is the right person. My initial text is, have you ever looked into I end with a question saying, can we talk about it? And this person just said no. So I don't know if that's the right person. So I'm not going to remove them from my dialer. And when I say remove them from my dialer, what I do is, like I said, I only take the mobile numbers and put them into my texting platform. Now, any other number associated with that property that I got from my batch skip tracing results, I'm bringing into my dialer. Up to a certain point. I don't go beyond like the 4th or 5th number in the skip tracing results, because you may connect with homeowners on like the 7th phone number, but the likelihood of that happening is very slim. So just as an example, again, Joe Blow, 123 Main Street, he has 10 phone numbers. The first 2 are mobile numbers. I'm taking the first mobile number and I'm importing it with 123 Main Street, Joe Blow, into my texting platform. Taking the second phone number, importing it with 123 Main Street, Joe Blow, into my texting platform as a separate address. So it's kind of like a duplicate, but not really, because they have different mobile numbers attached to it. Then I'm taking the landline 3, the third number that kicked back from batch skip tracing, landline 3, landline 4, and maybe mobile 5. And I'm taking those 3 and I'm importing them into my dialer call tools. Now, if Joe Blow texts me back off of that first mobile number and is like, this is Joe Blow, stop texting me about this property, I'm not interested in selling it, I will mark him not interested in my texting platform. But what I'll also do is I'll remove Joe Blow from my dialing campaign because there's no point in calling those other three numbers, landline 3, landline 4, and mobile 5, because Joe Blow just texted me off of mobile 1 telling me that he's not interested. So I don't want to waste my time calling the other three numbers. So like Sherry here, text me back saying, no, it's not for sale. That leads me to believe that that probably is Sherry. People will probably interpret that a little differently, but the way that I interpret it is that is Sherry, um, and she's not interested in selling. So I take note of the name and address and keep it pushing. And after I'm done texting for the day or what have you, I will go into my dialer and start to remove these people. So what you want to look out for in terms of error codes, I've been talking about the 30,003. It's like 30003 error code. That one is pretty common. Again, that one just means that for some reason our phone can't receive text messages. So I'll just automatically tag those cold call. What you don't want to see is 30,007, 30007. That means that either some language in your text is being flagged or the phone number itself is being flagged, and being marked as spam or being flagged as spam with the phone carriers to some degree. So you want to double check. What I like to do is cross-reference other messages that got sent off by that same phone number, um, and other phone numbers that sent off that same text with that same language. And you can kind of determine, is it what I'm saying or is it my phone number? If it's your phone number, get a new phone number. If it's clearly like what you're saying, then switch up the script. Hello? Just missed it. That was somebody calling in from just in reply, in response again. So what happens is I text them, and then I think it's like 5 minutes. If 5 minutes goes by and they don't text back, then the voicemail the ringless voicemail drops, and they get that. So that's when a lot of people start calling me back. It's because it appears as if they missed the call, so they'll call me back. And it's patching through REI Reply, the system itself, and it's calling me. Which is nice because what happens is it appears on the interface here on the texting platform, and if I'm not busy doing other things, I can scroll to the top of the list and I can see who's calling me. So I already knew who was calling me, so that when we get to talking, I can say, oh yeah, this is Dolores. Yeah, I was calling about this address here. I know it's because I'm doing it at small scale, and eventually I'm not going to be able to like find that person as they're calling me in, and it's just going to be a matter of like, yeah, I was calling to see if you had any interest in selling. So I will give her a call back. I had just missed it right when I got to the line. It disconnected. So I'll give her a call once all of these get sent off. Honey everywhere. That can't be all of them. Maybe it was. When did they start getting sent out? 10:50. 10:50, right? I guess it's been about 12 minutes. Let it breathe for one more second before I make that determination and start texting some more people. Or what I can do actually is I can come over to contacts and go to bulk actions, and I can see the progress of that. So it is complete. 77 contact import. It'll show the stats. 77 successfully sent, 0 errors. So those were all sent off successfully. So I'm going to come back over to my contacts, come over into this phone 1, make sure that everybody was text. No, they weren't. So there's still like, I don't know, 10, 15 people that never got texted there. I wonder why. Oh, there it goes. That's weird. There's like a 3-minute delay. Starting to become a little bit more lenient on softwares and technology. I think I'm quick to be like, why isn't it doing exactly what I want it to? But sometimes there's just a little bit of delay, a little bit of lag. So like right there, it was 3 minutes, and now a bunch more texts and ringless voicemails got sent off. Myra says, thank you for your interest in my property. However, I'm not interested in offering my home at this time. I will say a templated response to so let's just see what this person has to say.
One to answer. Hang up to send call.
Hello?
Hello? Who is this?
All right, this is Derek. Am I speaking with Renwick?
That be me?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm assuming you're calling me back off of the text that I just sent you.
What text?
Yeah, I was just reaching out to see if you had any property that you'd be interested in selling at the moment.
I do not.
Okay. Yeah, I think I was reaching out about the one on Marcolin Street.
This is my residence.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, completely understand that. I appreciate you getting back to me. I'll be sure to remove you from the list here.
I appreciate it. You enjoy your life.
All right, you as well. I will enjoy my life. I almost appreciate people calling back as long as they're cool about it. That way, again, I can confirm if that is the person that I'm looking to speak with. And it was. I know to tag him not interested and to remove him from my dialer. Because there's no point reaching out to any of the other numbers associated with that property if that was the guy who's on title and telling me that he's not interested. Here's somebody else. Tanya.
One to answer. Hang up to send call.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi there. Is this Tanya?
Yes. This is you.
Hi there. This is Derek. Assuming you're giving me a call back, I just reached out. Wanted to see if you had any interest in possibly selling the property over on James Franklin Street.
No, I'm not gonna give you. No, I'm not gonna sell my property to you.
Okay.
No,
All right. Well, I appreciate you reaching back out. Bye now. Now we're cooking. Now we are cooking. So back to Myra. Thank you for your interest in my property. However, I'm not interested. She says at this time, I don't know. God, this little gnat. Couple templated response I could give her. Maybe in the future. Oh no, not maybe not right now. Completely understand. You think I'm gonna hit her with that one? Completely understand. Do you think you would have any interest in the near future? I'd love to stay in touch and reconnect when the time is right for you. But for now, I am going to tag her. Got it. I am going to. I'm gonna be right back. I gotta wash my hands now. So I sent her off that template to see if she's gonna respond to that. But for the time being, she already told me that she's not interested. So I'm gonna go ahead and tag her not interested and take note of her name and address so that I can remove her. Just catching up on all these that went out. Sorry for the noise. It seems like the trash people never operate on any type of set schedule. Thought it was Fridays. No, not for sale. Like even that's kind of enough for me, to be quite honest. And people, again, they're gonna operate off of different parameters and standard operating procedures. This is just what I have implemented in my business. So I don't want this to come across as like this is what you should be doing. In fact, I know that I'm probably doing it incorrectly because I'm operating off of a limited marketing budget and because I'm only so experienced. I never want this to come across as what I'm doing is correct and you should be doing it like me. I just want to share the journey and share what it is that I learn, and I learn something new every day. So hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and everything that I'm going through here. So that's all of those. I think that's all of those. That's my timer for the laundry. Took a little longer than I thought. Just to get through those first few numbers. Now I'm pretty sure that's everybody. Let me come over to the contacts. Make sure that everybody has been texted from this list. And they have. Maria was the last person, so I'm going to delete not the contacts, but just the list. They're called smart lists within REI Reply. And I like to keep a smart list of the new properties that I import so that I can just quickly reference them and text through them. So like this is, again, a lot of the same addresses, I'd imagine, different phone numbers. There's 54 of them. I'm going to select all 54, add them to the campaign. Same thing. Add them to the general 20-day, add in drip mode, 54 contact import to general 20-day campaign. Start on today in 2 minutes, which is 1:15 p.m. I'm going to send off 8 every 1 minute, speed it up a little bit. So 55 of them. Should only take like 7 minutes, 10 minutes maybe after sending off the ringless voicemails. So that's that. I'm going to come over to bulk actions, make sure that that's scheduled correctly, which it was. It looks like it's been queued up to start in 1 minute. So I'm going to come back over to the conversations tab. So far I've gotten like 5 solid no's. A couple of them which had called in to tell me no. A couple who had just texted back saying no. But I like those numbers. How many did I text through? 77, I think. To get 5 solid no's off that, that's pretty good, I think. Especially happening so quickly. That's the benefit in doing something like this with automation is everybody who didn't text back is going to get a text tomorrow. And they're going to get a text the next day. And a lot of times I get a lot of texts off of like the third text or the last text. So to get almost a 10% contact rate off of like the first text within the first few minutes, pretty strong. You can just start to imagine if I sent off 1,000 texts right now and I got that same contact rate, roughly, 8 to 10%, there's for sure a lead in there. As long as I'm texting the right list. All right, you guys won't have to watch me eat anymore. All right, here they go. They are off. First error code from Carolyn, 30,003. Nothing to be concerned about. Attacker is cold call. Another 8. I think another 8. I'm going to count it this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Permission to send an SMS has not been enabled for the region indicated by the 2 number. Interesting. I've never seen that before. So it's like a unique area code that I'm unfamiliar with. And I guess I need permission. John says wrong number, sorry. The system picked up on that phrase wrong number. So it automatically tagged him wrong number, removed him from the campaign, and marked the conversation as read. So I didn't even have to do anything. Had I not been clicking through these individual messages, I wouldn't have even seen it. And I would have never needed to see it either because the system handled all that on the background. I had to set that up to where, hey, if somebody says this phrase or these words, then do these things. That's again the power of this tool is you can set up, they're called triggers in the background. So if somebody says wrong number, then text them, or sorry, rather tag them as wrong number, remove them from the campaign, mark the conversation as read, because I don't really even want to read it. There's no point in me spending my time reading a text that isn't a favorable response anyways. So you can really set it up where if you're doing it at scale and you're sending off hundreds, thousands of texts every, week, then you can really set all those triggers up in the background where you're only having to deal with, or not having to, but rather dealing with I want to deal with those. Here we go. This guy says 175, we can talk, says Gary. What I'm going to do now is take note of when he texted me back so that I can go spend a little bit of time on this. I'm just going to push this to Zillow, see what the Zestimate is. The Zestimate is 106. So you can see there that is not a deal. I would need this at 50,000 probably at the most. What I can do is quickly zoom out to see if there's any new construction going on in the area, to see if maybe the lot value is exceeds the cost of what a cash offer would be. So I'm just going to say sold in the last 24 months, year built minimum 2018. I really should be looking at like 2020 or newer. I'll do 2019. So there's not. I see like 2 new homes. The Zestimate is 235 on this, and this is brand new construction. It looks like new construction, large lot. This one was listed at 185. So what did he say? His asking price is what new houses are going for. So it's not going to work. So I'm really not even going to text him back. To be honest, I'm just going to tag him as not interested. High asking price. Take note to remove him from the dialer. And what I also do is remove the duplicates within the system. I should be doing that before I go and text the duplicate numbers, because I'm just kind of wasting money to, if Gary texts me saying no, I may have another Gary with another phone number, same address in my system. So before I go to text them, I should be removing them. But I mean, again, I'm like nitpicking at it because I'm limited marketing budget. But for somebody who has expendable money, like the cost of all that leakage of like texting duplicates or all that is really pretty insignificant. I'm being charged 0.0075 cents per text through Twilio using this platform. So what is that? A penny and a half every 2 texts. Yeah, it adds up, but the manpower involved, the time and energy involved in order to delete the duplicates and do all that other stuff is kind of just like time that could be spent doing a revenue generating activity. And I know that. but I'm still just electing to save my money where I can. I don't really feel that it's taking so much time away from me doing other revenue generating activities at the scale that I'm doing it at. There's only a handful of people that I need to go through and delete the duplicates of. Should only take me 5 minutes. There's no talking or looking. Make your first offer. Looks really run down. 130,000 is estimate at the end of a cul-de-sac. 3 beds, 1.5 bath, 1058 square feet. Single family, attached garage and carport. 1970 built. I'm just gonna go ahead and go with the Brent Daniels. What does he say? 50%. 50% of. Excuse me. Over 100,000. Below, it was either 200 or 250,000. So it's 50%. I'll go ahead and throw that out. 130,000 times 0.5, 65,000. I'll say, well, not knowing anything about the property, for a cash offer where we would handle all of the closing costs and not charge any commissions, we could likely get you paid within 30 days. Like, we could likely get you paid. I'm gonna go 55,000 in 30 days if that's something that you're interested in. Again, I don't really anticipate her being interested in that whatsoever, just based off of how she texted me back. But you never know. Maybe she's so over it that she doesn't even want to talk about it. It's like, just make me an offer. Maybe I'll sell it. If the number sounds good enough, I'll sell it. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that, well, that sounds bad, but that she's in a situation where I can help her with buying her property, and that she may just be so over it that she's not even wanting to talk about it. Just clicking through here again. Rosa says stop. System picked up on it. Tagged her as DNC, removed her from the campaign, and marked the conversation as read. That's what will happen on the back end when anybody says stop or unsubscribe or anything like that.
One to answer. Hang up to send call to.
Hello?
Who's this?
Hi, this is Derek. May I ask who's calling?
I was calling back because my phone was ringing and then it hung up.
Oh, okay.
I received the call.
Yeah, I was likely reaching out to see if you had any property you might be interested in selling at the moment.
Oh, no. Not right now.
No, okay. And I'm seeing here, are you the owner of a property on DeWalt Street, or is this the wrong number?
You got the wrong number.
Okay. Thank you for giving me a call back.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Number.
up to send.
Hello?
Hey, I just called here.
Yeah, my name is Derek. I was likely reaching out to see if you possibly had any property you might be interested in selling at the moment.
No, I don't, buddy.
Okay, okay. Just to be sure, I have an address at James Franklin Street associated with this number. Is this the right or the wrong number?
That's the wrong number.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right.
Number wrong address.
I apologize for that, and I appreciate you giving me a call back.
That's cool. All right.
All right, bye now. People are typically pretty receptive if you're apologetic about hassling them, like that guy. I find that to be the case. As long as you're like, oh, I'm sorry about that. Clearly, it's the wrong number. You say, no, it's cool, man. I just try to leave a positive, lasting impression on everybody that I talk to, whether it be the person who I'm wanting to speak with, or somebody who I contacted incorrectly, or somebody who's not interested, just any of that. Try to lead with kindness and a servant's mentality. Andrea replied, no, to my $55,000 offer. Do you have a number in mind? See where she goes with that. But generally speaking, I'm going to tag her as not interested, and I'll assume that that is her. Daniel, how did inspection go with buyer Saturday with that one? Not too great. Turns out we were looking at the property incorrectly. The main house, there's just a lot going on with the property, so much so that I'm looking at it now as a teardown. I had the thought, and I was like, I wonder if there's new construction going on in the area, and there is, and I think a developer would buy the property right around probably where we have it contracted for. If it does end up being that type of a play, which I think it probably is, I think we will have to get it reduced a little bit, but there's just a lot going on with the property. We were under the impression that the main house was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 1,300 square feet, and that the owner had made 2 additions to the back, both of them being 1 bath, one bed each. We had a buyer go out there and was like, this isn't 1,300 square feet in the main house. Then we learned that one of the bedrooms in the back was actually part of the main floor plan, and that the property owner had built a wall that separates it. So with that wall in place, the main floor plan is probably more like 1,000 square feet, which, so you can just, you can go so many different ways with it. Somebody could go in there, they could tear down that wall, they could take out all the plumbing and stuff that was attached to that extra bedroom, which is probably going to be more of a hassle than anything else, just to get that 1,300 square foot floor plan back intact. Because if you don't do that and you're just looking at the main floor, that's like, the way I run my numbers is like a $30,000 swing in terms of ARV, in terms of max allowable offer, in terms of what buyers are going to pay. So they have the one guy, I'm speaking about the one guy who had thrown out the 140,000. He went out there and said, yeah, maybe 140, but probably less now that I'm seeing all of this. And then he got back to me and he ran his numbers and he was like, it just doesn't make sense anymore. Now I'm looking at ARV. I had ARV at like 300, right? Which was optimistic, but I knew that. And then buyers got back to me. This guy specifically was like, I think it's more like 285. And it's like, all right, well, I can work with that. Again, I knew I was being optimistic, and I anticipated buyers coming in and devaluing things, oh, I think, or inflating the cost of rehab. So he said 285, and I was like, yeah, okay, I can work with that. And he's like, it's probably gonna be like 100 grand in rehab. And I'm probably thinking to myself, probably. So that's why he offered 140. But then he went out there and was like, okay, well, now that the main floor plan is missing 300 plus square feet that I anticipated it having, now I'm looking at ARV probably being more like 240, right? And now it's at the point where, in order to get that 240, more money needs to be spent in rehab. So it was going to be 100K just to fix everything. But now I'm going to have to tear down a wall, probably do additional plumbing and stuff, because they sounded like they just made a makeshift bathroom out of a bedroom with no like doors or like real legitimate plumbing. All of this work was done unpermitted. So now not only is the value of ARV much lower than initially anticipated, but the cost of renovation is greater. So it really does affect the margins, to the point where he wasn't even wanting to make an offer anymore, because that's what people are telling me. That's the type of feedback I'm getting, is that it can probably be done, which has me hopeful that there will be a buyer out there, but nobody wants to deal with this type of a project. Nobody wants, people, the inventory is low, but not that low, where somebody's needing to take this project on, um, you know, tear down a wall, make sure that the engineering and the infrastructure is correct about it, make all the plumbing up to code, get rid of plumbing that isn't supposed to be there, then doing the rehab, then probably tearing down the additional one bedroom, one bath unit that was built unpermitted. It's going to cost a lot of money just to fix the corrections that were made, that were done without permits, before you can even start rehabbing the place. And the rehab is going to cost a lot of money too. So again, what's happening is, we were under the impression that it was one thing. It's not that anymore. Now that it's not that, the ARV has been diminished probably 30, 40,000, and the cost of renovation is greater. So it's to the point now where people aren't even, and now it makes sense as to why people are making offers at, I have one offer at 90, one offer at 100, but the people who threw those offers out probably aren't even serious about it. Had I gone back to them and been like, hey, could you still make the 90,000 work? They're probably, in my opinion, the buyers that are not really even serious about that offer. They're more so just making it as, not an insult, but like, hey, if I need this, if I'm gonna get this, I need it at this price. And then I would go back and say, okay, like I think I can make that price work. Those, in my head, they're the type of buyers that are like, oh, well, like, I wasn't serious. I was just kind of saying that your asking price is way too high. Um, so I had like a random offer at like 90,000, just kind of like in passing, of somebody saying I would have to get this at 90. Not saying like, if you can make 90 work, I'll move forward. They're just saying like, yeah, shoot, 90 is probably where I would need to be. Same with the guy at 100. Like, maybe I can make 100,000 work, and I think that that's probably where it needs to be. Now, again, with ARV being somewhere at like 240, 250, and the rehab probably now approaching like 100,000 for sure, if not exceeding, probably about 100,000. Now that brings us down to, off of that 250, let's say, down to 150, and then just the cost of, commissions, closing costs, all that the buyer has to consider, plus profit. They're probably going to want to be somewhere at around 100,000 to make it make sense and worth their time. So we have it at 120. I'm gonna try to reach out to some of the developers in the area. It seems like there's some companies who does a majority of the new construction in the area, or at least has within the last few years. Just like a handful, like two or three companies. So I'm going to try my best to get a hold of the acquisition people within those companies, to see if they may be interested in it for a new construction play, as opposed to just a rehab play. Uh, and if there's nothing there, I think that uh, I'll round back with some of those buyers that were throwing out 90, 100 to see how serious they were. Um, Remarket it with a significantly lower asking price. Since we have it at 120 now, I put it out at 175. Thinking again that optimistically ARV was about 300 and thinking that the repair cost was going to be about 80, to the point where somebody may be attracted to it at like the 160 marks. So I knew I was being optimistic in my asking price as well, but people weren't even coming anywhere close to the 175. 140 was the closest, but that was again just kind of spitballing. And then once he saw the property, he was like, "Oh no, I can't do 140." So I think I'm going to send out marketing again, um, before anything else, asking a much lower price, like 150, to see if somebody can, or like probably like 140, 145, to see if if I get any bites at that, or maybe probably just even 140, to be quite honest. That's still enough spread where even if people come in at the 120, 130, then maybe we can go back and renegotiate price with the seller, um, and make something off of it. But the new homes in the area are touching 400. So I think that a developer would probably be, there's not a lot of homes going for 400, like the high 300s. So I think we would kind of be right where a developer would need the property. So I think one way or another, we may have to get it reduced, but I'm going to try to, put in a little bit more effort to do what I can, reduce the asking price, remarket it with the correct information, get a hold of these developers to see where they may be at, round back with those offers that I got at 90 to 100 to see how serious they are. Um, and then seeing just the feedback that I get from all three of those different channels. And then I will be able to safely determine, okay, the people who offer 90 to 100 aren't really serious. The developers need it at 100. And the new feedback that I got off of these new marketing efforts, I'm getting offers at around, 90 to 100, and they are serious. So uh, then I'll confidently be able to say, like, okay, we need to get it reduced to whatever price in order to make a spread. True, there's nothing wrong with reaching out to a new developer. You can still make it happen. Wow. Yeah, yeah. So I'm not tripping about it by any means. It's just we kind of have to start from square one. Again, it was just we were led to believe it was one thing, but it's not that. So now we have to remarket it, um, and it's kind of a cause for renegotiation as well. Um, but yeah, that's what's going on there. Wayne says no. Again, if somebody's just going to say no, I'm going to mark them not interested, but I'm not going to delete them from my dialer. So I have a list of 7 people. I'm going to come into my dialer, contacts, search them by either name or address, find them, click into them, mark them not interested, and toggle them not ready on call tools. You'll know what I'm talking about if you use call tools. It's just pretty much removing them from campaigns. And then on to the next. Did 1. Here's 2. It helps when they have very unique names. Here's 3. 4. 5. 6. And 7. And you can see how kind of quickly I can just remove them from my dialer. It doesn't take me much time at all. And it's I think, worth it, so that I'm not calling those people and wasting more time moving forward. Then I'm going to come over to my texting platform again and my contacts, make sure that everybody in that list that I just texted did in fact get texted. and they did. I'll come into manage smart list. I will delete that smart list. Does not delete the addresses or the contacts. Again, it just kind of deletes the quick list. And then I'm going to come in here and delete any duplicates. I need to add a column of the first address line. So this is a perfect example. Sherry had texted me back on one number. Very clearly it was Sherry. And here's another Sherry duplicate that I have not texted yet. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that duplicate Sherry so that I don't waste any time or money texting a duplicate property. So that's one. Friend link didn't have any duplicates. Tanya does. She has two duplicates, one of which I already texted. So I'm going to delete both of those. Ira does not have any duplicates. Larry, one duplicate. Delete that. Gary, no duplicates. And Andrea has no duplicates. That's that. And then I got 42 more people to text. So I'm going to grab all 42, add to campaign, add to, general 20-day campaign in drip mode, 42 contact import to general 20-day campaign. Start on today at 1:46, which is 2 minutes from now. I'm going to send off 8 every minute so that I should get through those in about 5 minutes. So those are getting sent off in 2 minutes. Come back over to the conversations tab, make sure I didn't miss anything. Does not look like I did. Looks like I've answered all the calls. Oh, you know what? There was one woman that I wanted to call back. She had called me and I missed it. It was that missed call. So I'll make sure to call her. I want to take note of that. Just kind of write her name down and say, call Dolores. I'm going to try to run and use the restroom real quick so that I can be back before these get sent off. 1 second. No missed calls. All right. That's weird. It's like my mom's name is one of these people. I will try my best to, before I import it, to format it correctly. I will make sure sometimes when batch skip tracing gives you your results, it will, like, some of the names will be all caps, or some of the address lines will be all caps. And there's ways that you can go. I'm not going to get into it, but there's ways that you can kind of tell your Excel spreadsheet if that's where you're having, or like Google Sheet. There's some functions that you can import to make it properly capitalized. The function is called proper. So if you want to Google that, it'll be pretty easy to find and learn how to do that. But I do that so that I'm not texting people and it's like everything is capitalized properly except their first name is all caps. It just makes it pretty clear that I'm using like a template to reach out to not just that person but many other people. So I feel like by properly capitalizing both their name and the address, it comes across as a little genuine. Andrea said, strike one. So she's just messing with me. I don't even know if that's the right person now that she's doing all that. Don't wait too much. That's what you got to realize too, is people have much more time than you do. This person's probably sitting at home not doing jack squat and or is just going to try to entertain him or herself by holding a conversation with you, trying to pretend to be the person that you're reaching out to or wanting to reach out to. So you got to try to just keep that in the back of your head and know that unfortunately through text messaging, there's going to be some of that. So just do your best to manage your time as efficiently as possible and determine whether or not these people are worth following up with or holding a conversation with. I had one guy who was like, I was on the move. I was driving my car, and that's also again just like the benefit of all this is I could be driving around later, and somebody is gonna call me back from the missed call that they got right now, and they're gonna call me 6 hours later. But yeah, one guy was texting me actually. I'll finish my story after this phone call.
Press 1 answer. Hang up to send call to voice.
Hello? I need to turn that off. Or at least just be a little bit quick. If you that whole press one to answer thing, it's just for reporting purposes. So like the system will be able to track metrics much more easily if they're determining, okay, yes, this person pressed one, as opposed to like just picking up a phone call. I'm not gonna get into that, but that's is this him again? No, it's somebody else.
Press 1 to answer. Hang up to.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, is this Freddie?
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Derek. I was reaching out. I wanted to see if you had any property you may be interested in selling at the moment.
I think you you have a wrong number.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, that story. Some guy had texted me and was like, "Yeah, I'd sell for the right price." And I asked, like, I try to at least get 1 to 2 pre-qualifying questions out of the way, like how quickly you're wanting to sell, like your timeline and your price. I'm gonna try to ask both those things. I'm kind of steering away from asking anything condition related through text because you don't want them to feel like, oh, I'm not gonna type this novel, you know. So I'm finding, or rather, I've learned through experience and through educating myself on text messaging that you probably just want to do like a few things like that, like how quickly did you want to sell and did you have a number in mind, right? And so that's what I had done for this guy a while back, and he said probably something favorable, like, yeah, ASAP I would sell, and I'll sell for something in this area if you think you can do that. So I called him. I was driving my car and I was like, I gotta get this guy on the phone. And I called him and I was like, hey, like, is this person? And he's like, no. And he was confused. And I was like, you were texting me about a property that you were wanting to sell within the next couple of days here, or whatever he said. And he was like, oh no, I was just messing with you. You texted me and I figured I'd just play along. I was like, what? At least he was honest about it, but you got to just know that those are the type of people that may be behind the phone, may be behind that text. So there's that extra layer of kind of, I don't know what you want to say, like pre-qualification that you have to push through in order to determine whether or not this person is, one, the person that you're wanting to reach out to, and two, truly interested. Which is why you hear these gurus and these pros say you can't not hide behind a text message. Eventually, you got to get these people on the phone. That's still the main goal. Texting is just kind of like the stepping stone in order to get that done. And I internalized that and took that to heart, which is why I initially did not have these phone calls patching through to my phone like they are right now. But I realized, you know what? Somebody may call and be interested. So it's worth it to me to take 100 phone calls if 99 of them are people who are cursing me out, telling me to stop calling them, if it means that one person is actually interested in selling. And I have generated, or at least, yeah, I would consider him a lead. It wasn't the hottest of leads. I made him an offer. He wasn't truly motivated, I don't think, but it was somebody who called me back and I answered and I was like, hey, yeah, I was calling you about a property that you may be interested in selling. And he was like, yeah, I would sell it. And we started talking. So that was enough to reassure me that, hey, I need to be taking these phone calls when they call back. JFC, what market are you in, man? I'm in Houston, Texas. Good luck. I'll see you next time. For sure, Daniel. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, JFC, I'm out in Houston. What about you? What market are you in? That should be everybody. Let me come back over to contacts. Bulk actions. Complete. Sent off 42 successful texts. Come back over into contacts. See that I did in fact text everybody off this list, which I did. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this smart list. Don't think I really got any no's off of that, just a couple of wrong numbers, which is to be expected again, because that right there was the third phone number in line, the third mobile number in line for some of these properties. So I don't really expect, once I get to the second phone number and the third phone number, the more you go down, again, like I said, batch skip tracing is giving it to you in order of like relevance, or likelihood or probability is probably the better word to use right there. Uh, the I guess like earlier the number, the higher the probability. So first phone number is going to be the highest chance of you getting a hold of the person you're trying to get a hold of. And as you start to go down the list to the second phone number, the third phone number, you're just more and more unlikely to reach the person who you're wanting to reach out to, which is why I really don't go anything beyond the third or fourth phone number. And I only bring the first three mobile numbers into my texting platform here. So I think that's everybody that I texted. I'm going to go ahead and give these two people a call back that I have missed, and I can call right through the system as well, which is cool. So I'm going to be calling them from the number in which I texted them from, which is nice. Oops. Here we go.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 4-2.
So what I like to do is wait until the end there to see maybe if their name is in their voicemail machine, which it was not. So this guy called me back, unfortunately, as well, when somebody either texts you or calls you back, regardless of whether or not you missed the call. So in this case, I missed it, but it's still counting it as quote unquote replied to the campaign. So once they reply to the campaign, they no longer get any more of the automated texts within that campaign. So this person is essentially removed from the campaign because they called me, even though I missed it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tag them cold call so that they can be brought into my dialer, so that I don't just lose out on an opportunity here because I missed the one and only phone call. So tag him cold call, move on. And then I'm going to call this one other woman, Dolores, who had called me earlier. I don't really like calling out through the system. I've found that my phone number pops up as spam more often than not when I call through the system like I am right now, but it's kind of whatever. Like I said, I already missed the call, so whether they answer or not, I'm going to cold call them or bring them to my dialer. So that was unfortunate. I was on the line when somebody tried calling me back. So again, I'm going to tag her as cold call. Call through both those people. This person just called me back and I missed it. I wonder if it's because I was on the line calling out. I'd imagine that probably is why, but I'm going to go ahead and give him a call back real quick. I think it's a he. Maybe a she. Hi, is this Ethel?
Yeah.
Ethel, how's it going? This is Derek. Hey,
Okay. How are you, man? What's up?
I'm doing well, doing well. I was just reaching out. So sorry I missed your call just now, but I was reaching out in regards to a property I believe you own over on James Franklin Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to connect, and I wanted to see if you'd ever consider an offer on your property there.
No, sweetie, my family's been here for 70 years and not planning to go anywhere.
Gotcha. Completely understand. All right. Well, I appreciate you getting back to me. While I have you, would you happen to have any others you might consider selling aside from this one?
No, we moved here from Hawaii, so we're not doing anything.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
I hope you have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but pretty powerful as well within the tool. Not only those calls that I'm dialing off of the software on my computer get recorded, but also the ones that are passing through to my phone get recorded as well. So at any time I can come back to this conversation
Hi, Zell.
and replay
Just reaching out. Sorry, I missed.
because it was recorded. So pretty powerful. Again, especially if you're building out a team and your team is operating all within this texting software, you as the manager, team leader can come in after the fact and listen to the recorded conversations. So I'm going to go ahead and tag her interested. Take her name and address down. Oh, well, how funny, bro. I have so the contracts that we have here are partnering with the YouTube subscribers, Jared and Raina. Jared had reached out to me with this opportunity, right? And was like, this is the address. And I was just like, out of curiosity, I was like, well, this is in an area that I drive for dollars in virtually. So I pulled him up and it was like, yeah, this guy and this property is on my driving for dollars list. I was like, yeah, that's trippy. I didn't realize that he had actually texted me back. So I initially reached out to this guy who is under contract that I'm trying to dispo, that we just had to walk through for on Saturday. I had texted him initially December 20th, and he had texted me back saying, yes, we can talk about it. And then I tried to pre-qualify him with the condition. He never texted me back. I texted him back 4 days later, and I considered him a warm lead. So I dropped him into a different campaign where he's now getting texted different things because I'm considering him a warm lead. So he's tagged warm in my system. We'd love to work with you soon to get you a cash offer. We connected a few weeks ago, just checking to see if you've given it any more thought. And I've literally texted him every couple of weeks since December 20th. And he just got texted again right now, 2 minutes ago, coincidentally, saying, hey, just a reminder, we're cash buyers in Houston. We're still interested in that property. Let me know if you'd entertain an all cash offer. And it just popped up right now, and I saw the name. I was like, what? And I pulled it up and saw the address. So pretty funny, pretty coincidental, small world. But that also reassured me or kind of convinced me that I need to be staying on these, especially these driving for dollars lists, because I could text somebody the 20th of December. He could text me back just simply saying yes and never text me again. But that doesn't mean that he's not interested. In fact, it means that he is interested. And I probably should have taken the next step and called this person which I did not. I tried to keep it through text, and especially I tried to ask him the condition of the property, and that's probably what turned him off right away. Now I know that the guy is elderly, and he probably isn't wanting to text or doesn't know how, and probably spent 5 minutes just texting me that yes, that one time. So it's kind of another learning experience in all of this. So that's all that. Again, I'm going to come back over to my dialer, search that woman who I just spoke with. Doesn't look like, oh yeah, here we go. There she is. Not interested, not ready, move, come into my texting platform, search her to see if there's any duplicates. Which there is not. So all good there. And that's it for the texting on the day. Sends off again, probably like 170 something texts. Got probably, like eight solid no's, a couple of other no's, but can't be too sure if that's the right person. Yeah, I mean, it's to be expected. 170 texts that get sent off. I shouldn't expect a lead to really come from there. I need to be sending off like thousands a week, but just trying to stay consistent here with what I have. So that's that. I'm gonna go down to grab my laundry out of the laundry room, and then possibly come back on real quick to do a little bit of cold calling and some follow up. Um, yeah. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for tapping in for this quick and likely boring live stream. But as always, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave if you haven't already. My name is Derek, and I will see you on the next one, probably a little later today. Until then, peace.